Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my Paragon Monolith Hero Deck Build series. And today we are going to obviously be looking at the newest support here by Epic Studios. Her name is FaZe, and as my deck name for her build suggests, she is a support character. We are actually here on the what's it called? This is the Epic's games launcher, right? And I'm trying this instead of actually going in game. This is just easier to set up and a lot faster for me. So if you have any thoughts on how it is compared to actually going in game to do the hero deck build, let me know, and I'll take it into consideration. So she is a support, and as such, we are going to be looking at a build that pretty much just strengthens her ability to support her team. So we're going to start off here. As you can see, we're at 40 out of 40 cards, and this is just total amount of CP that the deck has. It comes in handy once in a while to know that. We're going to start off with the Centurion card here. This is the quintessential prime card for all supports. I mean, you can argue that you can go with the Archmagus card just to increase your damage, but usually health is pretty good. When I finished building the deck, we were at 39 out of 40 cards, so I just added this healer token here just because it's FaZe. If you don't know her abilities, there's plenty of places that you can look up her abilities, so just go look it up. Okay, so now let's go into the actual build here. We are going to go into test build here, and important things to note before we get started with the build is that this is her stats at level 15. You can change it all the way from level 1 to level 15. So, but for this purposes, we're just gonna look at it at level 15. Obviously, we're gonna go all the way up to max CP, and we're gonna see our stats. You can change the actually, let's look at her abilities now, seeing as how I just kind of told you guys to just screw yourselves in terms of her abilities. Okay, so here we can see how they all scale when you level them up, and etc. So her basic attack is just that, it's just her basic attack. So telekinetically, this is the her main thing. This is what she does, right? She establishes a link between her and her target, and her target gets all this stuff, right? Health regeneration, her own health regeneration is added to the lane target, plus 2 seconds of 30 health regeneration anytime you use an ability like Psychic Flare or Energy Lance. So an insane amount of health regeneration coming in from FaZe. Awesome. And if you level it up, you get cooldown reduction, and you get increased health regeneration on ability cast, all the way up to a maximum of 75 health regain on a cooldown of every 9 seconds. This is the link. You cast this once, and it should stay on your target. We have Psychic Flare here. This is her close range. It's very, very close range. This is pretty much melee ranged CC. It does 75 damage, blinds the enemy for 1.5 seconds. Now, this is simply a blind. It is a flashbang. They can still do damage. They can still hit you. They can still cast abilities. It is only a flashbang. That's all it is. Let's see how that changes when you level it up. A lot of damage increase, and increase the blind, lower the cool. It did lower the cooldown, and it actually increased the mana cost. Increase the blind, increase damage, increase mana cost. Increase, these three are increases. The cooldown is staying the same, staying at 12 seconds throughout, and simply a maximum of a 3-second blind, 100 mana cost, and 240 damage. If we look here at her Energy Lance, this is the another one of her main kits. This is a defensive option. Psychic Flare is in fact super defensive. If you are running from an enemy and they are chasing you down and they are melee ranged, cast your Psychic Flare and then juke them because they can't see. That's what Psychic Flare is for. If somebody is chasing down your carry, link to them, activate Psychic Flare. Psychic Flare will go off on you and the person that you linked to. So if your carry is being chased down by a Grux or something like that, link to your carry, Psychic Flare, the Grux will go blind and allowing your carry to juke them. All right, this is defensive tool. It does a lot of damage, but it's mostly defensive. You can, yeah, I mean, the damage I guess is good for a wave clear, you know, or if you're about to kill somebody and they have a little bit of health, go ahead and Psychic Flare them. Energy Lance, this is her main CC, her main offensive CC. It can also be used defensively. It does 8 ability per hit, 8 stacks that cause what is this? I actually don't know what this means. 8 slow stacks cause 0.75. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Yeah. So this attack lasts for 2.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds. And every quarter second, you hit them once. You get 1 hit. So that's a total of 10 hits, right? So if you hit one target 8 times, and it has a small AoE, so it's actually, you can get multiple targets with this. If you hit one target 8 times, because each hit is going to do a slow. So if you do 8 slows, it'll cause a root. You know, it's called a root. It's called a root. You know, when they're stuck to the ground, they're not stunned. You know, they're not stunned like a rampage rock. You know, they're not knocked up like a crunch uppercut. They're rooted. They're just stuck to the ground. That's what it causes a root. And then if you level this up, you get a slight increase in damage. You know, 5 more damage per hit for a total of 40 more damage. It's not a damage move. This is mostly just for the CC. And what else happens is that the root's time increases, right? And which is good. You know, every level is a quarter second increase on the root, and of course you get an increased mana cost up to a maximum of 140. It has a pretty long cooldown, 14 seconds. But at max level is it's a 1.5 second stun. You know, that's death to most people at late game like that. And then we have her ultimate here. It's Hyperflux. So if you're linked to a target, you get, this is everything that you get when you activate your boost, your ultimate. And if you're linked to somebody, they also get all of this, right? 80 attack speed, 50 CDR, 75 mana per second for 8 seconds, and a movement speed boost that decays starting at 220 down to 0 at the end of the 3-second mark. And if you increase this, all you're doing is decreasing the cooldown and increasing the duration of the mana, 75 mana for 16 seconds at 110 second cooldown. Okay, so that's her ult. It's just a buff. Her ult is just a straight buff. All right, so now that we've seen all of that, what do I want to do with her build? It was pretty simple. We look here at the stats. You know, she has pretty decent stats end game. You know, she has a little bit of mana and blah blah blah. You know, you could just see her stats. You know, it is what it is. All heroes have a little bit of mana, health regain. But because of this, right? Your health regeneration is added to a linked target. You want to focus on that. This is your crux. This is your thing. This is her kind of uniqueness. And just kind of like any other game where a character specializes in one thing, you don't really want to bring up her weaknesses to kind of almost match her strengths. You want to just increase her strengths to maximum levels, right? Screw the weaknesses, leave her weaknesses alone in terms of stats, right? Max out her strengths, you know, like a carry, you build more attack and attack speed to make the basic attacks better. On a caster, you just go straight power to make their abilities better. You focus on their strengths. And what is her strength? Her strength is keeping her teammates alive via telekinetic strength link. Okay, and so as such, I'm gonna go here through the process of the build and just how generally I go through it. All right, so first of all, when we start off, we're going to start off with the Circuit of Health. We're going to start with the Circuit of Health, and we're going to upgrade this with 3 minor, with 3 minor, what's it called? Minor manas, right? And as you can see, the Circuit of Health here, it gives health regen, local, this first unique passive. And when it says unique passive, that means that they're not the same. All right, so unique passive, a local health regen of 2.8. right? So you have 2.8 health regen and your ally has 2.8 health regen. And with telekinetic link, you add another 2.8 health regen to your carry, because she's a support, right? So she's going to be playing that dual lane, right? And once you upgrade this with minor mana, you know, she is a caster, so she's gonna love this mana boost early on. You know, once you have 3 CP, go back and get this as soon as possible. You know, if even possible, go back at 2 CP so that while you're back there, hopefully maybe some jungle minions will be cleared and you get 3 CP by the time you get back to base, right? So once you upgrade this, you get a global health regen for another 2.8 health regen, right? So anybody within your local range is going to be getting 2.8 from here, and then another 2.8 from the global one, right? So that's 5.6 health regen on herself. So when you, and then 5.6 health regen on your ally, and then another 5.6 health regen from, I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see me pointing at the screen. Another 5.6 health regen from your telekinetic link. So your ally, this is early game, right? This is at 6 CP. 6 CP. Your ally is going to have 11.2 health regain. Okay? Amazing. Amazing early game item. So after the Circlet of Health, like I said, we want to just accentuate her strength. So the next card, we're going to get a very early game Gift of Rains with health regain. And this is pretty much just all health regain. You're going to get 1.4 health regain plus 2.8 health regain from the fully upgraded bonus, plus 1.4 health regains. If we look at the stats here, we're going to see that our health regain is going to be at 8.4. Now, this doesn't take into account the fully upgraded health regain that you're getting from the circlet. So add another 2. Is it 2.8? Yeah, it's 2.8. Add another 2.8 to this to give you like the actual health regain. But anyways, we're already at 8.4. Now this is at the 12 CP mark, right? We've only spent 12 CP, and we're already at 8.4 regain. Whoever you are linked to is going to be extremely hard to kill. They're going to be able to take poke and not even worry about it, right? This will allow you to bully that offlaner. This will allow you to make rotations, help your mid laner, help your off laner. FaZe is one of the best supports to help the carry and then go over help the off laner, because they're constantly taking poke. A FaZe will undo all of that, okay? So after we do that, we are still a support. So we do need to play that role, right? For our cards. So next we get our Magus Ward here. And we're going to do pure power here. She actually isn't that mana hungry. So I like Magus Ward, and yeah, I mean, just power and some mana, right? That's pretty much the best thing that you can get. She's a support, so she's not going to be doing that much damage anyways, but you still want that little bit of boost just to make everything hurt. Just a little bit, you know? Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 CP of power, you know? It's worth it. It's worth it. So once we have the Magus Ward, we are at the 18 CP point. At 18 CP, we will probably be somewhere at around maybe level 9, 10, around there. Like, we are finishing up early game and entering mid game. So because of that, like I said before, you always want to accentuate a hero's strength. So after the Magus Ward, you go into yet another early game Gift of Rains here, right? And you max that out and look at your health regain, 16.8, right? So you are yourself becoming pretty bulky, okay? Because health regain is just another form of health, right? As long as you have taken some damage and you are a support, you're supposed to be peeling for your enemies. What does peeling mean? It actually means getting in the way of enemy attacks and taking those hits for your teammates. Okay. So you have 16.8 health regain at this point. You can pass that over via telekinetic link over to any player you wish. Okay, that is an extremely strong ability. Makes any hero, it pretty much makes them a tank. Okay, unless they get bursted down, obviously. So All right, so as you can see, we pretty much been going back and forth, right? We started off with the Circuit of Health, then we went into Gift of Reigns, then we went into Magus Ward, then we went into Gift of Reigns. Now we're gonna go into Chronomancer Disc. Now here, we want to reduce her cooldowns because you're a support. You never want to not do what you're supposed to do because your cooldowns are still, you know, on cooldown. So get this card here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 CP. You get cooldown reduction. You get a good amount of mana regain here. This is a total of 1.2 mana regain on top of your basic mana regain. It's gonna, or it's actually 1.8. Oh, my math sucks today. Okay. Anyways, you have oh no, it's Gift of Reigns giving you mana regain as well. So you are at 5.3 mana regain so far here. Okay. So that's the first 8-point card. Remember, we are already here at mid game. We're pretty deep into mid game here. We're like in the middle of mid game. Probably somewhere closer to level 11 or so. After that, this is your first 8-point card, right? So now you actually want to go back and finish off your final cheap Gift of the Reigns, right? This is going to put you at a max build here. This is your early to mid game build, right? Late game build is coming up next, right? So right now we're probably like at around level 13-ish, 38 CP. You know, we're getting to that late game, okay? And let's look at the stats right now. You are at over half of max health regain, right? You're at 25.2. Max health regain is somewhere slightly over 40. You have a good amount of mana. You have your cooldown reduction. So now all of your abilities have been reduced to 10.8, 12.6, 117. Actually, let's go ahead and max these out. Let's max them out because we're almost pretty much about to go into late game. So let's look at these end game cooldown stats here. 8 seconds, 10.8 seconds, 12.6 seconds, 99 seconds. This is, you know, it's better than what they were at. You need Chronomancer Disc, okay? It's amazing on supports. It is an amazing card on supports. All right, so let's go ahead and say we are at max level here. So now all right, because now we're going to be looking at end game. So what you want to do now is you want to replace one of the early Gift of Reigns cards with a late Gift of Reigns cards, right? That's going to put you really high up there. Yeah, really high up there in health regain. Again, accentuating her properties. You want this to be significant. When you link to somebody, you want them to feel it, right? You're like, holy crap, this girl linked to me, and now I'm getting back more HP than I do when we get Prime Orb, you know? Or Prime, I said Prime Orb. So anyways, you do that, and you leave the other Gift of Reigns alone for now, because if you get the final late game Gift of Reigns, you actually go over the max, and you never want to go over the max, because that's just a waste of CP. So now what you do is you have a very, very easy upgrade path here with oh crap, okay, hold on. Let's actually remove this and remove this. I need to switch this spot of Gift of Reigns. Okay, yeah. We're going to put that there, and we're going to move the Gift of Reigns over to the unique. They need to just make all of these available as active slots, to be honest. Anyways, so all we did there, we moved over the Gift of Reigns over to a passive slot. And let's make believe that the Circle of Health was here, right? So basically, it was a very cheap upgrade. It went from 6 to 8, but now we have a Barrier of Will. We're at max level. As soon as you hit max level, you want to get a Barrier of Will. Why? Because Barrier of Will is just like Honor the Pure. You get a team shield. That is dependent on your level. You could get this earlier because a shield of 125 times, let's say 4 is a shield, you know, at level 4 is a shield of 225. You know, that's a pretty big shield. Okay. But usually people like to get this late game just to so they could always be at max amount of shield. We not. It has a fully upgraded bonus, but we're not gonna upgrade it. The basic armor and ability armor that it gives is not really. You don't really need it. You know, for that armor to like really take into effect, your teammates will have to have built a lot of health. You know, and most people don't. You know, so we have finally there a barrier of will. As a support, you do need a team shield. You do. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't, because you do. You need a team shield pretty bad. Okay, so next up is, if you look here, we still don't want to get the final and the end game gift of range because it'll put us at max. So now what we need to do is we need to get another card while at the same time slightly reducing our mana, our health regain, in order to just increase it more end game. So we're gonna get rid of one gift of range here. 4, and this is when you take into account enemy build. Either a thermal bond, if they have enough people with any stun, root, or knockup. I would say if they have 2 people that can do it, thermal bond will be worth it. If they only have 1 person that has stun, roots, or knockups, then it's not worth it. But 2 or more people, worth it. Because that's going to give you a lot of health, a lot of just health. It's just going to make you tankier. You get a little bit of ability resistance and a bit of health. If they have like no CC for some reason, or just 1 person with CC, then you just go straight into your barrier here. It's the same amount of CP, right? It's 8 CP here total and 8 CP here total. You know, this is just, you're paying for the ability here, for the unique passive, I mean, versus here you're just going straight into stats if they don't have any CC, or they have less than 2 people CC. If only 1 person has CC, then go for Tomb Barrier. If 2 or more people have CC, then you go for Thermal Bound. Let's make believe that they do in fact have 2, 3, 4 people with CC on their team. And we're gonna go for Thermal Bound there to get that health regain. Because remember, you're peeling for your enemies, meaning that you're peeling for your friendlies, meaning that you're taking hits from them. You're purposefully taking the stuns, for getting hit by them. So that your carries, so that your casters don't get hit by them. All right. So that's pretty much just gonna help you survive. The order of these 2 cards is up to you, really. I mean, they're really cheap upgrades, right? You replaced a 6-point card for an 8-point card. You could do that whenever. All you need is 2 CP, right? So it's very, whenever you need it is when you get it. I'm just doing this in the sake of, in the order of, like, from first to last, just for the sake of simplicity. So now we're almost here at max build, and we are, in fact, the last step is to get rid of the last early game gift of range for the final late game gift of range. As you can see here, we're at 42.0 health regain, almost max. Okay. I couldn't go any higher. I feel like all these cards are needed. As a support, you need a ward. You need cooldown reduction. Okay. You need a team shield. And Thermal Bond, if they're tanky, helps you survive. If they're very CC heavy, this will help you survive a lot. If they're not CC heavy, you get Tomb Barrier, which will still just help you survive a lot, because there's a lot of health and a good amount of ability resistance. So, whichever one is, this is just for your survivability. This is just increasing your survivability along with your health. You're gonna have a massive amount of effective health. And then the 2 fully decked out gift of range here is going to really emphasize this. Telekinetic Leak is going to be so strong. Your team will love you for it. Okay. And everything already set back to 1. So here we go. Let's take a look at end game build here. You have your Hyperflux. Is just your ult is a buff, attack speed, CDR, 75 mana per second for 16 seconds. You have your energy lance, which is just slow, and a 1.5 root that can maybe a 1.5 root. You have your psychic flare, which is defensive CC, helps you run away, helps you juke the enemies because they do go blind. And telekinetic link, which is what we are focusing on with this build. We want the link to be amazing. And when you cast an ability, you get 75 health regain. Okay, so 75 plus the basic 42. Okay, do the math. That's 117 health regain to an ally that you're linked to, all for simply activating a psychic flare or an energy lance or a hyperflux, God forbid. Okay, that's my phase build, super support based. Okay, this is not I'm a support, I'm gonna go push, left lane by my own and then I'll go back and help the team. No. This is, I always need to be with my team. If I'm not with my team, I might as well not even be in the match. She needs to have one person, at least one person. You can stick onto a fighter, you can stick onto a carry, you can stick onto a mage, you can stick onto anybody. Just stick onto somebody, because this is what this build is for. This is obviously health regain focused. You actually are at 46 health regain here. 46 health regain. So please play support in that way, right? Support, it means that you're helping out, but to help out, you need to be nearby. So stay on your teammates like glue. Whoever you are on will be a threat to the enemy team. And especially if you are on somebody like a Revenant, if you're on somebody like a Murdoch, if you're on somebody like a Yin, they will be able to go in there, take poke, and out damage anybody. If your carry goes up against the enemy carry and their phase isn't linked onto them, your carry wins 100% of the time, especially with this much health regain. Okay, so there you go. That's my phase build. I hope you guys like it. I hope that going on here makes it a little bit easier to explain and just shows you the stat penetration, the stat progression of the hero, as well as the ability progression. I really like this format, and yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.